Alright, so, in the infinite wisdom that is Ferch, who's the only person who watched the whole video and actually gave a recommendation, Shrauger is going to be the topic of today's video. This is going to be a shit video. Why? Because I didn't really interact with Shrauger. I'm going to be real here. I have a lot of stories to tell, but that's going to be it. Um, I don't really have a big in-depth analysis of Shrauger. Shrauger is an autistic, probably man at this point, um, who does some dumb things. It's actually pretty funny most of the time if it doesn't directly involve you. So, when did I first meet Shrauger? Well, I first probably heard of Shrauger around fall of 2016. I think that's when Shrauger joined DB. I'm not entirely certain. Around this time, I made the alt totally white to gank Dawn Brigade, and then to ease tensions with Dawn Brigade, we killed my alt. Me and Jam had sidestepped on my alt, and then me and Jam killed my alt. Um, that was autistic. Shrauger made like New Whitehaven, which was actually Cyrus. They just called it New Whitehaven because it was like supposed to be a better version of Whitehaven at the time. It was a better version of Whitehaven, and they had this like role play where they would go and trade cheers from New Whitehaven to people for grenades because they didn't spawn in New Whitehaven. Yep, people think the UTC were role players, so is Dawn Brigade. Anyways, so then a bunch of stuff happens, a bunch of random stuff, not really important. Basically, like the UTC and Dawn Brigade did a war games. Dawn Brigade was like super dumb about it, and Shrauger wasn't very happy. Um, Shrauger was pro UTC like this whole time. In typical Shrauger fashion, I can probably find a screenshot of this. I probably have a screenshot of it somewhere. Shrauger warns me that something bad's gonna happen when the UTC got hopped in Astromont in 2016, and like Pittacus killed everybody and took all the pumpkins. But Shrauger said something bad's about to happen. I'm like, what do you mean? Can you be any more specific? What are you talking about? And Shrauger's like, nope, that's it. And I was like, that was useless. Because I that gave me like no indication whatsoever. Like we knew that people were trying to hop us. People always try to hop us whenever the UTC had any party, people always tried to hunt us down. Regardless, at this point, I wasn't really a fan of Shrauger. Um, After we did that War Games, sometime later that month, like maybe a couple weeks later, Shrauger called Pittacus a whore. And Mayfot demanded Shrauger apologize, and Shrauger's like, no. And then Mayfot's like, I'm gonna demote you. And Shrauger's like, I'm gonna join the UTC. So then Shrauger joins the UTC. I think that might have been in February at that point. I had a whole big long thing, like a whole speech regarding Shrauger when he was in the 234th, but that Discord died, so I don't have that. But I have DMs between me and Rebuff, which is just as good. Here's the DM. Um, so what does this mean? Well, basically, Shrauger came to the UTC and started acting like he was in charge, and I was just like, no, buddy. You're gonna learn your place. You're at the bottom of the fucking totem pole. Welcome to the bottom. And Shrauger just continually was insubordinate and didn't follow orders. Um, Shrauger was Irish's like good boy, always did whatever Irish asked. Didn't ever think twice. But if it wasn't Irish, Shrauger didn't listen to anyone. I was like, I don't know how you're so like obedient to Irish, but anybody else gives you an order, you just don't actually fucking listen. I have a great clip that I'll show you guys towards the end of this video with me and Shrauger in the days during TB. But back to the story on hand. So Shrauger basically like doesn't listen to rebuffed and drills. He did two other things. I don't remember what they were. But he was just basically being insubordinate and didn't fit in, so I kicked him from the 234. And then Irish was like, you could join my regiment. And then Jam was like, I don't want Shrauger. Jam was in charge of Irish's regiment at that point because pretty much Irish was de facto in charge, but Irish didn't host events or anything. Jam was hosting events, and they like him and Lauren and a few other people would go and do like mini patrols, or they would. I don't remember if they did mini trade runs, but I know they did lots of patrols and they hosted their own drills. It was like another regiment that just did UTC things. But Jam didn't want them, and Irish was like, we don't want Shrauger. And then eventually Irish got rid of Jam and replaced Jam with Lauren. And then eventually Lauren left because she felt like she was getting replaced by Shrauger, which she was. But I think Shrauger probably was a better replacement for her, at least in the fitting of that regiment with the way things had gone. Especially when everybody left, that regiment pretty much died in activity in terms of doing actual events. So Shrauger fit in with the good old boys club that was Irish's regiment. At this point, I didn't really talk to Shrauger that much. I didn't like Shrauger. I didn't really interact with him. Most of 2017 was just like my regiment hated on Shrauger more than anyone else. We hated Shrauger more than we hated Irish. Like, I'm gonna let that sink in. Because most regiments, just everybody hates Irish. We all hated Shrauger with a fucking passion. Best story I got with Shrauger. Hands down, best story. It is like late December, early January, like 2017, 2018. And me and Brotato are in Cyrus with Shrauger. And a 93rd recruit had just died in Cyrus on another server. So me and Brotato meet up, and this is when you had to do the Christmas quest in Cyrus. So me and Brotato meet up, and we're like, Shrauger, are you coming? We're gonna hop to try to go kill this guy. And Shrauger's like, yeah, I'm coming. Then after a minute, we're like, Shrauger, are you coming? And Shrauger's like, I'm trying to get some apples. It was some sort of food. It was in the slums. I'm pretty sure it was apples. I can't exactly remember what it was. But in Cyrus, in the slums. So we were in the inn. We're like literally 100 blocks. We're like, we don't see, like, where are you coming? Then another minute passes. And we're like, Shrauger, are you coming? And Shrauger's like, maybe. And we're like, okay, we were like done with Shrauger. We didn't like Shrauger. We left the voice chat. Went into the general voice chat of the 234th because at the time we were in the main UTC Discord. We changed Discords. Then we went, logged out, and then hopped servers. And we hopped on the two guys, and I was like super duper under geared. Like my gear was, I had like a 14 Dura Power 2 bow. I remember my bow broke in the middle of the fight. But in the middle of us fighting, Shrauger hopped servers to the server that we're on and watches us get into the fight. Me and Brotato were both in a 1v1. I almost killed my guy and then dropped because my bow broke and I couldn't bow spam them anymore. And as Brotato's chasing this guy around on the ice road, like I think Brotato chased him north, the guy juked around Brotato and then went back south, like east of Cyrus on the ice road. Shrauger watches Brotato run by him. Shrauger's like in a god him, so is Brotato. And Shrauger goes, go get him, you rascals. And I was like, what? Like, he didn't help you? And Potato's like, no, he just watched me run by. I killed the guy, and then I ran back to Cyrus and killed the other guy. And at this point, I was dead, and I was fuming. And then we told Irish, and Irish was like, Shrauger, why'd you do this? And Shrauger's like, I didn't do anything wrong. And then Irish was like, no, you did something wrong, don't do that again. We're like, you didn't get in trouble? Like, you got like a slap on the wrist? We're like, are you kidding me? Like, hadn't that been anybody else, they would have got reamed out. They'd have been punished. They would have had to go farm something at the very least, if not like get stripped of company member. Like that was a almost as bad as getting stripped of company member offense. Like when Jam fucked up on leading twice and got everybody ganked in his group, they took away his company member. Like, well, they were going to, and they wanted him to farm something. And Jam's like, no. Jam's like, I'm not doing that. And they're like, fine, we're gonna kick you. And they got rid of Jam. So, you know, I don't know why Shrauger never got in trouble for that, but you know, they were moving me out of the door at that point, unbeknownst to me. So that's probably why I didn't give a shit. But anyways, that's a fun story. After the 501st left to make TB, I didn't really have interactions with Shrauger. I guess the next time I probably ran into Shrauger was. There was one time where we hopped Water Spire right after we had made combat alts, and I remember I killed Shrauger with the account Sony Twan, and Shrauger dropped with like 3 pairs of depth 2s at like 60 plus Dura, like combat Dura at the time, so that was nice. And then the next time I ran into Shrauger was at Devil's Castle, and this was in mid-May. I might have a clip of this. If I have it, it's playing. If I don't have it, it's not playing. Me, Jam, Hugo Boss. I don't remember the numbers in his name, but that was another guy who was in TB. And then I think Joe. We're all at Devils. And then Ferch, Shrauger, and Blow worked together for the UTC. They ran into the boy Hugo Boss and killed him. They knew about this event. They were basically hopping one of our patrols, and they knew about our patrol because Mr. Pie's bot updated everything into like a spreadsheet, and Irish and Shrauger had the spreadsheet. We know this because when we put like a link in the spreadsheet, I don't care about talking about this anymore. We put a link in the spreadsheet that basically it redirected you through an IP grab before it took you to the Google Docs, even though in Discord it showed the Google Docs. So when you clicked it, it redirected you through an IP grab, and on the IP grab website, it had logged Irish and Shrauger had clicked it. And we had changed Pi's perms. We had changed the perms once, so there was something Pi could see, and Irish and Shrauger clicked it, and then we changed it again, and then Irish and Shrauger also clicked it, so then we got rid of Pi because we knew Pi was a spy. I guess it does loosely involve Shrauger. To the actual fight itself, Hugo got killed and Jam got killed. At this point, it was like 3 minutes of sustained combat, and me and Joe had like no gear left. Basically, the way the fight started is a guy runs from like McLovinville to Devils, dies at the entrance to Devils, and at that point, I was logged in, and I was like 1v3ing for like 2 seconds, and then Jam logged in, and then we were 2v3ing, and then Joe logged in. As Joe logged in, Jam died, and then me and Joe at that point just dipped. But we had been fighting, they had been fighting us for so long, they assumed that we had combat ults on the way, and we were slowly logging in people. So at that point, Shrauger, Ferch, and Blow don't chase me and Joe. They run the other direction into the west and fuck out of the Midlands. And then TB had like a scouring, and we didn't ever find them because they ran away and logged out like smart people. They're the only people who realized that you should hit and run. Wow. Everybody else who ever fought TB fought the first wave of accounts, and if they won, then they died to the combat ults. But anyways, next time I ran into Shrauger that I can remember was in the famous last SS with Nike, when Nike was not blacklisted. And Shrauger, like, Nike's like, don't run off and chase anybody on your own. And Shrauger runs off and chases somebody on his own. So I'm following him because Shrauger's being autistic, and he gets himself separated off. And I'm not even gonna lie, I was super tempted to shoot Shrauger back into the two guys that were chasing him. I was the only person next to Shrauger, and like I was like, come on, Shrauger, we need to run. Shrauger's like, okay. So then me and Shrauger are like running from like slope to short bridge because we chased these guys from short bridge to slope where everybody else was at short bridge. So I had a great opportunity to shoot Shrauger with my punch bow back into the two guys that are chasing him and get him killed. There was like 30 or 40 people in this, like, I think we were in a Teams, or not a TeamSpeak, I think we were in a Discord call. It might have actually been a TeamSpeak, I don't remember. I remember yelling over everyone, and then Shrauger turning around. I think Shrauger said something back to me. Like, the only people I could hear in that call were, like, Nike. Like, I was able to talk a little bit, but not even really. Anyways, so I had an opportunity to shoot Shrauger back into people, but I didn't do it, and I still kind of wish I did. It would have been so much funnier. I remember why at the time I didn't. Had I known that the UTC was spying on us at the time, I absolutely would have, but I didn't know. They had somebody else spying on us in TB. 2019 run-ins with Shrauger. None that I can really remember being important in the slightest. TB, or not TB, 10, we attacked the UTC's cake party in late 2018 for the formation of their new puppet state. I think Shrauger was there. I don't think we killed him. I think he got away. And then, yeah, I don't think I've really interacted with Shrauger since. So I hope you enjoyed the video on Shrauger. This is mainly Shrauger stories. Honestly, this is going to be the title of the video. Shrauger stories. If you guys have suggestions of people for me to talk about, leave suggestions, please. I will do them. If there's another Honestly, actually, I take that back. I might not do them because Ferch suggested Shrauger, and here we are, and I'm talking about Shrauger. Shrauger, you're welcome, or maybe not.